Well, that goes. Welcome to the show, guys. I never know how to introduce and welcome my own show. I know it's really weird. So, hi guys. My name is Francis. Matthew Cohen. Thank you guys for being so much on the show. Please introduce yourself. We're here to have fun. We're not here to be We're not getting paid for this ESPN for it. But yeah, for the first couple minutes of the show, I just like kind of bullshitting a bit. Before we go into like the real topics for it, just to kind of let people hop in, let myself go into my 6 websites and be able to watch myself on it so I can get some views for it and be able to share it. So yeah, how was you guys this weekend?
I don't remember. It was good. It was good. It was a busy weekend. The Super Bowl weekend's always it's like a holiday at my place. So
Right.
We get ready for it. We ramp up and then get ready for the big show. And it was good. It was enjoyable.
Like my brother-in-law was trying to he was tempting me with every type of alcohol that was in his house. So I didn't now, especially with the way the game was going. I'm just happy I didn't bet any money on my home. So that was my highlight of the weekend, I guess. Not losing any money to Matthew. That was my highlight. Pretty exciting stuff. Matthew, how was your weekend? Oh, wait.
Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you now. Okay, perfect. We're just gonna add your phone view to it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
We don't want to lose you.
Okay. So no, my weekend was good. Was one to watch it with Colton. Didn't get a chance to. Wasn't feeling the greatest on Super Bowl Sunday, so watched it from home. But yeah, it wasn't too bad at all. So.
I mean, it was tough football to watch overall.
So I agree. It was tough, but so in my travels, I had conversation.
What's up, Michael?
The coolest thing about the Super Bowl, barring any setbacks, and excuse me, maybe this is a rematch next year, but old goat versus young goat. I mean, Is there really a better game to watch outside of seeing each other trying to take it to one another? And it was a blowout unexpectedly on the Bucs side for me, but they got the job done. They took advantage of the mistakes, and kudos to the Bucs. They earned it.
Yeah, I think overall too, one takeaway too is they always say the old adage is the game's won in the trenches, and I really felt like that was the game. I mean Brady was flawless, but he didn't have to do a whole lot overall.
Yeah, no. So you know what, I agree with you, and I was telling my wife that it's I made a post about it. You could have put Nathan Peterman as a Buccaneers quarterback, and he could have made it as far as they did with the way that defense was playing. So, you know what, guys? I mean, you guys are ready for the podcast. So, you know what? Let's introduce yourself. My name is Francis, InTheBox Collection. I got my friends over here, Matthew and Colton. They represent BECM Cards. Brand new cards. Have you guys even been official for a month or no?
Oh, when was it? Yeah, almost a month. I don't know, probably about a month, right? Was it almost, the 17th? 17th or 7th? I'm trying to remember. Got the LLC, earlier last month. So I'm about a year.
Well, I know you guys been planning on it for the last year. But, you guys are my guests today. For the people that are watching, InTheBox Collection, these are the topics that we have right here. We have the Super Bowl reaction, which we kind of already started it because that was the weekend. I do going to start some beef between you guys. I hope that's okay. I'm going to talk about Tom Brady. I'm going to talk about the NFL rookies, Fields versus Lawrence, NBA rookies. Matt, you give me hype about hockey, and I want you. That's the reason we have the 4th camera right there, and just kind of weekend of hobby and getting cards graded because and I'm kind of jumping ahead, and I'm going to do that a lot. I'm sorry about that. I'm a really bad host, but as I was stalking your page to see like what you guys were doing, the whole thing about giving people tips on getting cards graded, I think that's amazing because personally, nobody gave me tips. They were like, yeah, PSA is great, GMA is cheap, there's Beckett and there's BCCG. Like nobody was like, hey, before you submit a card, you should look at the corners. And like I thought that was a super important point that you made on one of your posts. But just
Yeah. No, appreciate it. Yeah, that's what we're trying to go for. A little bit of that.
So we'll
reach
start
out
out
to the community. So
yeah, great job. I mean, I'm happy for you guys. So we'll start out with kind of where we started. Super Bowl reaction, winners and losers. So I don't want to throw these out there, but Matthew, you picked the you picked the Buccaneers. Antoine Winfield card, and he had like a big highlight.
Yeah.
And Colton, you picked Mahomie. But you guys really think there'll be a rematch next year? Like, what are the chances of that?
Maybe. I mean, I think the Buccaneers defense only gets better, and I don't think Mahomes is going anywhere for a long time. So
yeah. The NFC, I don't know. We'll see what the draft says and with free agency and what the NFC ends up with. There's a lot of quarterback movement that is going to happen that could really influence the NFC to be better caliber teams. But AFC, I mean, yeah, Mahomes is going to be the guy on top for a minute, but you still got Justin Herbert, Josh Allen chasing coattails. So
Carson Wentz, I mean, he could go anywhere, right? How much could that make of a difference in things like that? For each team, who was it a bigger win for? Was it a bigger win for Brady, winning his like 7th MVP? And was this Mahomes' biggest loss in his career, in his short career that he's been in NFL? Like, well, his first year as a starter went to the Super Bowl. Second year loses badly. Like it was not a fun game to watch as a Kansas City Chiefs fan. Like but then again, like he couldn't buy anything. Like he could not buy one flag. So
yeah. I think overall, at least my take is it was probably bigger for Brady because everybody was, it's every time there's somebody new, even Aaron Rodgers or Mahomes or whoever's the new person, they always want to be compared to Brady. So if Brady goes in and smashes Mahomes, it's bigger for Brady in my opinion. Even though it doesn't make sense that it would be because it's his 7th.
Yeah, he's been there plenty of times.
He just is trying to seal the deal, you know. Yeah, but. I think Mahomes is fine. It's not. I mean, he lost to one of the greatest to ever do it. So I mean, I don't know. There's nothing to hang your.
Is it a compliment to lose to Brady? Is it like a compliment to your career? Like people can say like they can be happy that they lost to Brady.
I'd say no in my opinion. Sorry if I'm taking all the time too, Colton. Feel free to cut in, but I would say no. I think Mahomes wanted to beat Brady. Everyone wants to beat Brady. I think they more so, are always going to be bitter about it. Just like Peyton Manning. I'm a Colts fan. For the longest time, I was always bitter about Brady. So, yeah.
What do you think, Colton?
I think it's so. I mean, you can't deny the great things Brady's done, especially branching off of the Patriots and who was who carried who, if that is a question, if you will. But they did have home field, which was, I mean, how often does that happen?
Right. It's
with COVID, does it make that big a difference? I still think it does because you're not a traveling team.
I think it makes a huge difference. You're comfortable. It's like you're playing at home. You're playing like you really are playing your own back. There's no. One of the things that I do like about the Super Bowl is the fact that it's usually on a neutral place. For them, it was like backyard. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then you got a young defense like they do. I mean, arguably the best offense that Brady's maybe ever had in his career. I mean, he was set up for success for this time. I mean. He really wasn't against the wall, even though the Chiefs are a juggernaut. But the Chiefs had a lot of silver linings that I didn't even really know about until the next day. I didn't realize they'd lost Fisher. They were out without their tackles.
They lost. There was only one starter from like the regular season on their O-line.
Yep.
Their starter. What's up? Tell me.
Did you guys know about I didn't know that Fisher's boy was a coach.
No.
And he was in a major car accident, and his 2 daughters that were with him are both in like serious condition. This happened Thursday night. I didn't know that.
Shit. No, did not know that. I mean,
So how do you coach a
hopefully-
good game when your two granddaughters are about ready to die? I mean, everybody goes through stuff in life, but I
Yeah.
think that creates a hurdle.
I think, yeah, like I can't imagine like having to show up to work after something like that. Like, and it's not like a week 7 game,
Right.
and you can only imagine like him just trying to focus on like whatever he can to like attach himself to like just get through the game. Like it's at that point in time to him it was probably just a game. It wasn't like he didn't really care for it. Yeah. That is nuts, man. Best wishes to the family, to the Fisher family.
Yep, absolutely. Best wishes. I didn't know that until today, and I was like, "That's that's kind of a big curveball for the biggest game of the year." But
Yeah.
I mean, we're all human beings and things like that, so it's not like it's not something that's fun at all. No, it just sucks, man. Honestly, it just sucks. It just really sucks for it.
there's probably woes on both sides of the football, but that one stood out to me. I'm like, that'd be pretty tough. So
I think that, like, I want to draw away from a little bit from the sad story because best wishes to the family. Never wish that upon anybody. We're gonna kind of really get back to like football in a sense, but for the Buccaneers, it seems like a lot of things were like was on their side. Like it was home field advantage. Their defense was great. The O-line was injured. Kansas City was not 100%. Like the running back core was not 100%. Sammy Watkins is always like a shoe on tie away from like being out for the next couple weeks.
Yeah, and that's a lot of. But you know what? A lot of teams that meet adversity rise to the occasion, and so you still can't. You can't, like I said, you could go on a rap list and be like they were without this or they had that, but at the end of the day, mistakes were made on the football field, and Tampa Bay took care of the ball.
And I think one of the things that, like, in my opinion, and Matthew, before I say my point, like, what do you think about it? Nicholas is hopping into the stream. The refs damn near had more yards. Like, but
yeah. I think that it just Brady was flawless and pretty much everything he did. There was no pass he made that put their team in a position to get picked off or anything like that. And I mean, his O-line held up, but their scheme was a little, I don't know. I guess the Chiefs did not have a great defensive scheme against them.
Not at all. I don't think did they even get a sack on Brady? I don't think they rushed him. Brady didn't seem like he was out of breath. He didn't seem like he was worried about the defense at all. And
I think they sacked him early on, like first quarter maybe.
Okay.
But after that, I think it was pretty. They did a lot of motion and quick passes. And,
the Buccaneers defense, they were jumpy. They were like they had scheme going on. They were flanking the linebackers, blitzing with the safeties and the cornerbacks. It was nuts.
Yeah.
How does Patrick Mahomes, like, how does he bounce back? Like, does he? Because he was also he didn't play his best game, but some of it was his fault. He was kind of late in some of his passes. Some of his reads were out there, and not saying that sometimes he just ran back. Like he didn't even try to run a route or make a call for himself or his players. Like he just ran back 20, 15 yards and then try to make a pass. Like he's not fully like not at fault. It's my thing about it.
Yeah, he definitely. But the crazy thing is, he still almost completed those passes. I mean, that's what's crazy about it all. But yeah, he definitely got flustered. But I think for his career, it's more of just a stepping stone. I mean, he had to face adversity, and this was one of those times. I mean, they just ran through everybody. I think it's just good for him, for his growth. It'll make him better. It'll make him, he's the next in line for succession to the QB throne, and he just has to give a little bit of time. Yep. Yeah.
That's a good point. What do you think, Colton? How does Patrick Mahomes bounce back from this?
Just to continue to be the humble leader that he is. I mean, he's not. I think he's the kind of guy that walks away from this game and truly appreciates losing. Like, you got to lose with a little bit of happiness too. That, like you said earlier, you're playing Tom Brady. it should have been, it could have been a closer game for their end, but I think he's the guy that goes back to the drawing board immediately. He probably doesn't take a week off. He's back.
Yeah,
slamming
just like
video, learning.
yeah, like Tom Brady doesn't seem like Tom Brady does not look like he's going to take a week off, which leads us to our next topic. What's next for Tom Brady? So he made it clear that he was not going to retire, right? I think he should, cut your losses, buddy. Like, why go back? I'm 50-50 on it. It will make sense when you have a defense like that. It looks like Nicholas agrees with us. So, see, whatever we said, it looks like Nicholas. I'm pretty sure it was about Colton's comments on Patrick Mahomes, how he just goes back to the drawing board. So, yeah. So, back to the topic. Thanks, Nick, for checking out the podcast. Really appreciate it. I really appreciate your support. What's next for Tom Brady? He comes back, right? He'll be what now? 67? Is that
68.
60? Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Somewhere above 68 and 70.
As long as that defense stays great, they're gonna win him some games. Like versus the Packers, he had 4 interceptions. Versus the Chiefs, he did have 2 weeks to prepare for it. What do you guys think is next for Tom Brady? Are we gonna see him repeat back to the Super Bowl like Colton wants it? Or is he just going to finally take a step back? Bless you.
I mean, that's what we're all waiting for, right? Everybody's waiting for Brady to just quit doing it. I don't know, personally, after beating Mahomes like that in the Super Bowl and beating Rodgers and Breeze on the way there, I really don't know what else he has to prove. I really, I don't know what he could come back, and I think he might come back for all the personal individual records maybe for 1 year, so he doesn't care if he wins next year, but what's next for him? I don't know. He has nothing to gain from coming back. He's already proven everything he'd ever prove. So
I wonder where he is in the all-time stats.
Him and Breeze are close. I think Breeze might have him in yards maybe or something, but not by much.
Now, is this the Tom Brady win the argument that it was not about Bill Belichick? He was not a system QB. He proved everybody wrong. Is that the end of that argument, or next year if Tom Brady starts out 0-4, they'll be like, "Oh, Bill Belichick"? Is that argument ever going to return?
I don't think so.
No, you think it was more Brady, more Brady than Belichick? I guess I don't know. I guess I still feel like they were mutually beneficial to each other, but Brady definitely made a statement this year. So I agree with that, Cole.
So to that argument, do you think that if Brady would have been on the Patriots this year, they would have been a postseason team?
I'm going to be honest with you. No.
I think they might have went to the Bills are better. They might have – no, probably not. AFC was a lot tougher this year. What was it, 10 wins got you in? 10, 11 wins?
I think like you said earlier, man, Brady went to a team that was stacked. Nicholas in the chat said, I think Brady being last pick, draft pick, and being this great loss of people regret not picking him. Maybe, but you don't know that. You don't know that when you draft a guy, right? You really don't know how great they're going to be at the end of their career. So I do agree with Nick. People probably regret him, not picking him. But
I think the touching on Brady real quick. I think what the scary part is that 43 years old, you're dealing with a man that's been reborn. Because what I understand is that the Patriots' way is a pretty staunch way in the way they conduct themselves, and that's fine. But I think he's playing just to have fun now. I think he's going out there,
he's just smiling at people and
he doesn't seem like he's got nearly as much weight on his shoulders. I mean, I think he's out there just at this point earning records, getting trophies, and it's no pressure on him.
Just having fun the whole time. I think Nicholas says I think that's what drives him to be where he is now. I think it's fun seeing a guy having fun. When you see somebody have fun. Even if they beat the Chiefs and even if you have money against the Chiefs, but I'm pretty sure Patrick Mahomes is probably I want to be to that point in stage of life when you get to have fun. Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. $450 million. He'll get to have fun for a long time. So
right.
Can't feel too bad.
Is it about the money? We won't really know. He has plenty, but he's having fun. That's the important thing about it. Let's get away from Brady because. Honestly, I don't want to see them in the Super Bowl next year. I do think that defense has a lot to do with it. And Brady is at a point in time that he's having fun. But you know you can have fun when it's just another day at the office. Like, you've been there for 20 years. You know, it's nothing. Nobody's going to throw at you something like a new software that you can't use, right? Like, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Now-
his decision making should be all right. Really, it's just his arm. When does his arm go? And it
Yeah.
doesn't look like it ever will. He's still throwing
And if we
missiles.
we got Mike Evans and you got Antonio Brown and Gronk just out there just chilling, waiting for whatever prayer to throw. I mean, why not, right? Speaking of some guys that will be facing challenges, though, we have the upcoming NFL class. Fields versus Lawrence. I know myself and Andrew, we talked about it earlier, about a couple weeks ago. But the season is over, which means that we look on to next season. And we'll be looking on to these guys, not just, to flip their cards, but also, I mean, this could be the next Brady. This could be the next Russell Wilson, or it could be the next EJ Manuel. Like, who knows? EJ Manuel.
Yep.
It's
Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah, Dwayne Haskins. Well, Dwayne Haskins signs for the Steelers, right?
Yeah, so he might
Yep.
be. I mean, maybe be reborn there. So who knows?
It's all about being reborn, right? All right. So
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence, he got the good hair. Justin Fields, he's hungry. Who do you guys pick number one? I think, and if you give me a minute, I can find out exactly who gets the number one draft pick. So, but who would you guys take?
That's a tough one. I mean, I think you got to go Lawrence, but Fields seems like he was a little more ready. Hungrier than Lawrence. Like Lawrence might not have been working as hard because of the hype. I don't know, but it's hard to pass up what Lawrence brings to the table, and so I guess I don't know in that case. I'd trade back.
For the people that are watching the show, if you guys leave a comment, what do you guys take? Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields? I'll give you guys a little bit of information on it. The Jacksonville Jaguars, they have the number one draft pick. Assuming nobody trades, the Jets have the second draft pick. And number 3 goes to the Miami Dolphins. So it's
3 to the Miami. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So in theory, they could go 1 and 2, right? It wouldn't be surprising because the Jags, Gardner Minshew, obviously it's not working out for them, right? Or is Minshew going to make a comeback? And the Jets is Sam Darnold, and he also has a bad rep with the Jets. So, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like I have watched them each play like one time. I'm not a huge college football fan. So if you guys are not a huge college football fan, that is completely and entirely fine.
Who did the Jags get for their new head coach, Urban Meyer? Is that right?
Did they? I think you're right. Yeah, I think that's one of their new
Fields. Then right?
Well, what I've been reading is actually Trevor Lawrence. They're saying that those two are the happy marriage, and that's what the new dynasty is there. That's what I've read. I don't really have a personal sway on that opinion, but also to throw in there is I saw the Jets taking that kid out of BYU. I forget his name right now. But so Fields wasn't even in the top 2 the last couple of things that I've read personally.
Really? I like the Jacks. They have the DJ Shark is a beast. James Robinson does not get enough credit for saving me in fantasy. Like, I feel like he deserves an award. Like, he single-handedly handled my fantasy team. But Zach Wilson is that the kid from BYU?
That's him. Yep.
There it is. Thank you. Yep, that's the kid from BYU. Nice,
What's up,
man.
Trent?
Look at that. What's up,
Trent?
Yeah. Shout out to Trent out there speaking that knowledge for it. Thanks, man. Thanks for popping into it. Does it really matter where they go, though? Like, do you think that it is regardless where they go? Do you think that they will be as great as any like a Mahomes or as a Brady, or is this just guys kind of like walking the mill, just both projects?
I think, in my opinion, that scheme means everything for a rookie to start with. Like, if you put Herbert in a different scheme, initially might not be as good, or Mahomes. Not saying Mahomes wouldn't have been great, but Andy Reid and him were a perfect pairing. Brady and Belichick, perfect pairing. But then from there, how they grow and mature is up to the player. But I feel like overall, based on like scheme's huge. So if he goes to the right scheme, so Urban Meyer could take Fields. I could see Urban Meyer taking Fields, and he knows his schemes and his play calls, and could be a bit, could be good for them. But that's my take. I mean, there is natural talent, but I feel like you have to pair it with a good scheme initially, because you have so much to learn at such a high level in NFL that I think you kind of need that, or else you get a Jamarcus Russell or a Dwayne Haskins or something. So
I don't think Dwayne Haskins never had a first shot of it, and I think that's what really messed him up. Like, he never had a fair shot at the starting job or any kind of job or anything like that. I'll ask about this though. So when it comes to being a rookie, do you benefit from sitting out a year? I mean, Patrick Mahomes sat down behind Alex Smith for a year, right? Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. He sat down behind Brett Favre for a year. Justin Herbert sat down behind Tyrod Taylor for like 3 games or like 2 games. To him, it was almost a year watching Taylor go out there and just play. But
right.
Matt, what's your views on rookies? Like, do they benefit from sitting out a year? Should they look for it? Would that make a difference? Like, look at Tua. Tua sat behind Ryan Fitzpatrick, and then they started him. And, Tua did his thing, right? Tua did pretty good.
Same with Herbert.
Yeah, same with Herbert, yeah. Joe Burrow, he started from day one.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't have much of an option. There wasn't like a – who was the backup for them? Was it Finley? No.
Finley, maybe? Yeah, you might be right. Yeah, I guess from my standpoint, maybe it depends on the person. I don't know, like, I guess learning how to prepare at a professional level is big, but Peyton Manning started. He went 3-13, but
all right,
or 2-14. He didn't do very good to start, but he worked out of it. But yeah, I mean, a lot of these guys sat behind a lot of folks, and I think it's good overall. But I think it just comes down to the coach and the scheme. Some guys are ready to pop in. Burrow looked like he's ready to go. I mean, he'll make mistakes.
Yeah, before he went down, he looked like he was the truth. Because could Trevor Lawrence be like this year's Burrow? Like, it's just NFL ready. I think Justin Fields. I think he's good. He's hungry, but that also might set him back a bit. Like, he should sit down for a couple games. Like, depending on where he goes. I mean, if he goes to the Jags, then he may not have that option. Or even to the Jets, he may not have that option.
Right. You got this one, Colton? What's your take?
I just think it's everything you guys have been touching on is similar to my opinion. Depends on the person, the player themselves, their mentality. Are they pro ready mentally? I mean, there's some guys that you could argue take 5 years to really reach their full potential, and who's built around them. Mm-hmm. But I also think that there's guys that can come in. But was it Ben Roethlisberger? Did he go to the Super Bowl his rookie year, or was it the second year?
That's a good point.
I think Russell Wilson also. I think Russell Wilson also is in that category. That they were still young when they went to the Super Bowl. I don't know if Roethlisberger did it, but I'm pretty sure Russell Wilson did it his freshman or sophomore year.
Dak Prescott, I know he made the postseason his rookie year as well. So
Nick has the answer for it. It was his second year. So
second year.
Well, that's still pretty impressive. Like, we're talking like that brand new, fresh. Well, he thinks. So, like, brand new, fresh. You're coming out headstrong into the game, right? That's dope. Props to those guys for it, because I obviously did not make it the NFL, and if I did, I would have been like 200 pounds by now. I'll ask you guys the card-related questions. If you guys had to ask, or if you guys were going to get, whose cards are you guys buying, Justin Fields or Trevor Lawrence? Regardless of whatever team they go to, or is there any other rookie coming up in the class that I may not know about, that is somebody deep in the draft, and that is the real steal of the draft? I'm like, we're talking kind of like a CeeDee Lamb. Like, we knew CeeDee Lamb was going to be good, but the dude blew every wide receiver out of the water. Like,
I would say for me around here, Zach Wilson's the move.
Zach
To be
Wilson.
honest, now, I'm not gonna say why around here because you know, on the podcast we won't get into the reasoning behind that, but yeah, definitely with BYU close, Zach Wilson for flipping cards locally would probably be the move.
That's true. That's
But
super smart because you got to deal with your local market, right?
but
I mean,
overall, to
Yeah.
sell on eBay, I gotta say, I mean, Lawrence has got all the hype. Even Fields has some hype, but Lawrence still. I mean, those cards are going to be going for a bunch initially. So
As soon as we know that his card in a National Treasure box, everybody's stimulus is going to get dumped into hobby stores.
Yeah,
But,
that's
yeah.
gonna. I just bought like 2 boxes of NBA hoops hobby. Like, what's up, Andrew? Like my paycheck, it's gone. I don't even want to like. I think it took me like 24 to 48 hours to show people before like I actually bought it. Like I showed you guys, but like to most people, I was like, I did this, and I don't know how I feel about it. I might just like keep them, but like show it to my kids one day.
I bought 2 unicorns.
Yeah, you bought 2. Yeah, like I got just me and my unicorns just chilling out here. They actually sleep with me, like they're here for it. That's funny. So I do want to talk some basketball because football is over. We're going to drop the football. We get it. Brady's a go. Oh, actually, real quick. Speaking of football, Lamar Jackson. Are we done talking about Lamar Jackson? We're going to put this into the winners and losers for Lamar Jackson. Had all the hype coming in after an MVP year. His car value was through the roof. Is this the end? Are we the last people that did we not get the memo that we don't talk about Lamar Jackson anymore, or what's the deal? Are we still talking about Lamar Jackson?
I think he's still relevant. I mean, he's got his. I mean, the first year or second, was it first year? Was last year his rookie year, or was it the year before? Okay, yeah. So I mean, he set the NFL on fire, and then people kind of figured out a little bit about him, and he just has to adapt. So it's all up to him, you know. I mean, does he adapt like Michael Vick, or does he become, you know, one of these other QBs like we'll throw it back with like Cordell Stewart, you know, when he's kind of starts getting used as like a multi-faceted weapon for a
like
team.
A Taysom Hill kind of guy, just kind of in there to like trick people into
like a Taysom Hill. That's a better, yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah,
Cole?
he seems like he can play. Yeah.
What do you think, Cole? Like, what do you think is going to happen to Lamar Jackson? Are we done talking about him? Should we be talking about him? Are we allowed to talk about him? Twitch, YouTube,
he's too athletic. He's a human highlight reel, so I mean, he's always going to be in the mix. But what he does for a team outside of personal statistics will be the biggest thing. You know, is he going to be the guy that has 300 yards, you know, passing, rushing, combination of, but can never get a W? I mean, wins are what puts you on the podium. So, I mean, personal statistics are good and fun to talk about, but, you know, as soon as you get midway through the season, you become an afterthought. And they made the postseason this year. They made it further one round. So I'd like to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're still growing. They're a young team as well. So I think they'll be in the mix.
J.K. Dobbins. I really like. I want to see them in the mix, to be honest. I really want to see them in the mix. What about another guy that we're not really talking enough about is Carson Wentz and the Eagles, who might be going to the Colts. How do you feel about that, Matthew? Because you're a Colts fan, right?
Yeah.
You can say yes or no. You can be like, we don't want Carson Wentz, or yes, we do.
I don't. I honestly not really. I really, you know, I think, and it's no offense if Brian's listening. I just don't really. I mean, the dude's so injury prone, and he's had a bad couple of years. I know he was an MVP candidate, but that was, you know, it's all about what can you do for me lately, and you know, I'd much rather get, you know, maybe like if Green Bay's ever going to part with Rodgers because he doesn't want to be there, I'd much rather get like a Aaron Rodgers, or obviously anybody would take Aaron Rodgers if you could get him, but trying to think of other guys. How
soon after Carson Wentz gets traded, Jalen Hurts start, do we just sell his cards? Like, just
I'm still trying to sell him now. So, I'm trying to sell all sorts. So we are trying to sell, you know, a bunch of them.
Yeah.
So.
I got one from you, so I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. So no, he's electric, and he's the future. So
What do you think,
Yeah.
Colton? What's one guy that we're not talking about that we may have overlooked this year? Maybe like Dak Prescott making a comeback for the year. I don't know. Who's your team, Colton? Remind me who your team is.
Giants.
The Giants. Oh yeah, I know that because yeah. I'm sorry, man.
They're on their way back up. I would say Jacob Eason. Really, I mean, what if nobody goes to Indianapolis? That card right there, I've seen it skyrocket.
That's true.
It kind of leveled out a little bit, but if nobody goes to the Colts, and it sounds like he's going to be the guy, there was a lot of clout on him. More after I did more digging, a lot of people like this kid, and I think he's kind of getting slept on.
Has he played or no?
Mm-mm.
No,
not yet. But he's got a full year of learning now. So I mean,
all right.
Who knows what he could be?
Could be the next Mahomes, right?
Oof.
Yeah. What about Jordan Love?
Never know.
What is he? Why is he? What? So if Rodgers goes, Jordan Love's cards. Anybody buying those up are geniuses. So
we'll talk about that about Weekend of Hobby and towards the end of it. My favorite segment of the show is Weekend of Hobby. So I'm sorry I keep bringing it back to cards. So because we're going to talk about this and I want to sound like we're done or anything like that. So we're going to go do the NBA report. Be honest, guys. How much basketball do you guys watch?
Very little. I keep up on the the scores and everything just because for cards, card flipping for what we do, we keep up on the scores, I think, but I haven't watched a game in a minute.
The NBA rookies, right? What about you, Colton?
Same. I watch very little. It's growing more now. Back in the 90s though, I was all over it. It's just I don't know why I took a back seat so much. But need to watch more.
I mean, definitely to especially with I know Matthew comes to me in whenever he was finding the NBA draft picks, me and Matthew had extended conversations on the which rookie was going to be hot. I remember when Tyrese Maxey had a 30-point game. I'm telling Matthew, let's post up Tyrese Maxey cards. The dude's great. Nick likes college ball, but not much NBA. College ball is going on. I don't think there's going to be a March Madness, but there'll be some type of madness, right? They got everybody's adjusting to COVID. We're not going to dwell too much into basketball unless do you guys want to talk about? Is there anything about this sport that you guys want to see more of? What will make you guys watch more basketball overall? If anything, if not, it's okay.
No, I mean, I think overall, I used to watch them, but I think there's just so many different things going on, and I kind of prioritize, one sport typically, or at a time. And so when playoffs hit, I normally watch basketball, but I've been keeping up more so, but still trying to figure out why Anthony Edwards isn't as liked by everybody. It seems like Wiseman and LaMelo are the only ones that people are really thinking have a shot at the rookie of the year.
That's a pretty good question. That is a really good question.
It seems to me so not having been watching it for the last decade, but it kind of seems like what happens is they make all these trades and they try to build these dynasty teams to make these runs. I watched when Golden State got pretty hot and they were battling any team that LeBron James was on, but has it kind of turned into a sport where money pays for championships, or is it really built around young talent? Are there teams doing that?
That's what the Brooklyn Nets did, exactly that. I can see why that would be a turnoff to the game because you have your team. We'll say I don't know. I can't think of a team that sucks because they're being rebuilding for so long. The Knicks, right? So if you like the Giants, you like the Knicks too, or just the Giants? The Knicks are kind of like that. The Knicks, or a team that refuses to bring in so many they want the best team that money can buy. So I could see why that could be a turnoff. You have a team with Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant. That's an all-star team right there. So yeah, I could see that.
Are they? So who's favored? Who's favored to win it?
The Lakers. In my opinion, it's the Lakers. Like I don't see how any other team could get it. People say the Brooklyn Nets, but to me, they have Trent said Tyrese Halliburton playing tough. Yeah, yeah, and that's another thing. Like, great point, Trent, bringing up a guy that not a lot of people are talking about. I mean, Halliburton is playing for the Kings, and he is balling out. Like, the dude is balling out every game, and he's going out there 100%. But because of where he plays, and he doesn't play with the James Harden or with the Kevin Durant, like, he's not going to get enough light. Great point, Trent.
Sadiq Bey is another one, right?
Yeah,
Bey is it's kind of weird what they do with rookies. Like I've been, you keep tabs on Tyrese Maxey. He goes for like 35 points, and then 2 games later, he's playing 6 minutes. It's really weird. Somebody with that, offensive explosion, or even Halliburton, like who. I've noticed the Precious Achua. I can't remember that.
Precious Achua, yeah, from Miami. To me, he's a beast. Like, he's one of my favorite players to watch. Like, he wants to be there and he wants to grind. Like,
it's I mean, it's kind of it's interesting once you get into cards. I think to like see who's. I think the Prism draft picks did a really good job of a lot of these guys being relevant. Like, there's very few of those cards, at least in the base set, that aren't playing minutes here or there. Kind of interesting. Some of these guys.
I agree with you. Like, Colts, I'm pretty sure the Lakers, because they also have like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, so they stay at the top of the rankings. The Clippers have like emotional problems. The Brooklyn Nets are still kind of broken, and I have cards all over the place, guys. I don't even know. But yeah, in terms of, and there's nobody really at the East side of the Eastern Conference that really could do very much for it. So you guys are absolutely right. When it comes to Anthony Edwards, I think it's his attitude. He said some stuff. So you guys do know also one of the things that like these guys are not giving enough credit for is like they didn't really have a college season. They didn't really have a preseason. They didn't even have a summer league. Like, usually they have all this time to transition into the NBA.
Yeah.
This year they just got thrown in there.
Yeah.
And I think this guys just didn't get enough time in the spotlight, because the NBA is different. Like, except for like LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball has been in the spotlight since he was like whatever age LeBron. Yeah.
14, 13. Yeah.
So I think he's like the difference maker, and he brings a bit of his own hype for it. But for guys like Anthony Edwards, like James Wiseman, you really, unless you watch a lot of college basketball, you really have no idea who these guys are. Like, and you get this small preview, and if they say something wrong, the media just attacks them. Like, Anthony Edwards said like he didn't like playing basketball, and the media like questioned his character, his moral. And personally, I'm like, look, man, like, these guys are like 18, 19 years old. And they're to do this amazing at what he does. That's why he's getting drafted number 1. Like, that's why he's there. Yeah. And media's just like digging him apart. So that is a great question and a great point. I'm not obviously capable to answer that question for you. Hopefully I was able to, like, you should watch basketball with me, because I like watching basketball. And if you watch basketball, I watch hockey. So you can do it that way. Which brings up to the highlight of it, because, as you know, I'm not big on hockey, and Matthew, you are, right?
Pretty big on hockey, yeah. That's my sport now. Yeah, got my.
So you get your hockey stripes.
Yeah, well, I got my hat on. I'm not athletic enough to get hockey stripes out on the ice, so I fall on my ass.
So, like, I'm not like this is one of the my favorite. One of the things I was looking forward to is because you're teaching me about a sport, and also you're showing us cards, because we have it set up right here. This is Matt's phone, by the way. For the people that have been watching it, this is Matt's phone. Yep. In which he is going to go ham on cards, right?
Yeah. I don't know if you want to do that right now or what, but yeah. Overall, hockey for anybody who doesn't watch it, really high paced like basketball. All the substitutions are on the fly pretty much. Physical like football. It's amazing it's not liked more because it really is just high paced, physical. There's fights. They allow fights to happen. My boy Reeves tonight on the Knights fought. Got the game paused right now. This is how much care about BECM Cards, and then also this podcast got the game paused downstairs right now to come on the podcast.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Hey,
by the way,
don't let it happen again.
Everybody who's watching the show, please go buy cards from BECM Cards so that way we can play for the NHL Eyes. All of their links and information. It's actually just your Facebook. I did not have enough time. I just remembered that we all have eBay, and I forgot to put your eBay link. I'm so sorry, man. But the link to Beckham's Cards, it's on the description for you guys. So cool. Whether you guys are watching it now or later, feel free to support these guys. Like these guys they're running a business. They're doing what they love, and honestly, I applaud you guys for it. And I think that's awesome. So.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, appreciate it, Francis. Thanks for putting.
I've been having fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Matthew, teach us about hockey. Like, assume that I don't know anything about hockey. Maybe like 3 teams' names. Like,
I'm still learning it. Overall, like all the rules, you just kind of learn on the fly. But really, you like some of the big teams right now. Of course, the Golden Knights are one of the best teams in the league. There's a new team and a new expansion team if anybody wants to get into it and just become a fan of a brand new team, which will come next year, named the Seattle Kraken. So it's kind of a cool logo. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So that's a brand new team if anybody wants to jump into it. But it's just a really awesome sport overall. Like I said, it's like a mix of football and basketball, just high paced and physical. People take a puck to the face and spit their teeth out and go get their their blood cleaned up, and they'll come back out and play. Like it's like old school football players, playing with broken bones and stuff. But it's pretty awesome. Teams to know: the Golden Knights, the Tampa Bay Lightning won last year. I'm trying to think of a couple other teams.
Because you're a Knights fan, right?
Yeah.
What made you be a Knights fan? Like, why did you jump on the Vegas hype, or did you know that they were going to be good with their Moneyball strategy? I think that's how they did it, right? Or how did they get to be? Didn't they take like a whole bunch of players that nobody wanted or something? Or am I talking out of my ass? Like, how did that work out?
Yeah. So. No, the expanse. Yeah, so about 3 years ago-ish, 3 to 4 years ago, they had an expansion draft, and so what happens with that is that each team is able to keep a certain amount of their players. They're only able to keep like, I don't know, I'm trying to remember the exact rules, but like 6 to 8 people, and so then the Knights get to go through and draft from the remaining players for their team, and that's what the Kraken will do as well.
Okay.
And so. They basically build their team off a huge pool of free agents per se, off of these different guys. So all the star players are kept, but their goaltender Fleury was a 2-time cup winner, maybe 3-time. I can't remember. 2-time, 3-time. Hard to probably see that. My camera's not that great, but that's their goaltender, one of their starting ones right now. But they have 2 of them that are rotating. But so they picked him because the other team let him go for a younger player, and so they got a bunch of these other players, and they were called the Misfits the first year because it was all these B tier players that weren't kept by these other teams, and so they kind of built them that way, and so they're really popular. Why I chose Vegas? I have a lot of family in Vegas. Love to go to Vegas. Colton and I, prior to COVID, during basically the COVID thing, wanted to go to Vegas, but then COVID hit. We're gonna enjoy some drinks and hang out around the.
Now you have to go to Vegas on Zoom. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's not very exciting. Oh, by the way, speaking of, I'm a firm believer of, and I'll tell you this, like I found a whole bunch of hockey stuff. So, this is what I got and I know you see most of it, but is this? Did I make some good choices or?
That's the good. These are good ones. These are good ones. The series one, they're pretty good overall. Colton found a couple of the hockey as well, and we opened them, and there was a couple of good ones. So some of the players you're looking for in the 2019 would be Kel McCarr, which plays for the Avalanche. That's a local team or near us that's really popular. Them in Vegas are two of the top teams in the league right now. But Kel McCarr Young Gun card is worth probably 300 to 500 graded.
Really?
And it's out of that. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. And then there's a Quinn Hughes and Jack Hughes. They're brothers that were drafted like 1 overall and maybe like 3 or 5 overall, but
really?
they're worth probably 150 to 200 each graded. So those are pretty good. I mean, they're tough to find, but when you do hit them, they're good. In your other 10, it's all about the Lafreniere, which we did get back from PSA. I got my own spiel on that. Not PSA is kind of PSA is on my shit list, but but
so this is the 9 Lafreniere. Oh man.
Yeah, so it's still worth a couple hundred as a 9, but here's the debate, I guess, overall with the PSA thing. I guess if we want to transition into, or I guess I'll get to that in a second. I'll show you a couple more hockey cards, and we can transition into the grading and whatnot you mentioned. So
yeah, because Weekend of Hobby, we're going to talk about grading just like we talked about it a bit earlier.
Yeah.
Do you want to show us? I'll put the solo screen on it, man. Show us some of the hockey cards that you have. That if I rip all this tonight, if I have like 2 more beers and I rip all of it, who are the people to be hype about when it comes to hockey? So we're gonna focus the camera on your phone, which is where you have all of it for it. And for the people that are watching, if you guys like the cards, we're not asking you guys to buy the cards or anything like that, but we are asking you guys, if you guys like the cards, drop a comment. Let us know what you guys like, because we want to find the people who are the fans and whatnot. So yeah, man, take the floor, Matthew. This is all you. Let's see.
Right.
So
this so I guess got a couple people to look at for just overall guys you want to look for in the 2021 that you'll see. The 2020-2021 series in that 10 that you had. Some of the guys, really, it comes down to a few things. And I guess it's with all sports, right? So are they getting a lot of playing time? This Gabe Velarde is getting a lot of playing time, and he's flourishing for the Los Angeles Kings. So this is one of the Young Gun cards that we got graded through GMA, and he's doing really well right now. The other thing is, who are they playing with? And that comes down to this guy. So this is a guy on the rise right now. His name's Philip Kurashev, I believe, if I'm saying that right. But he plays on a team with multiple-time Stanley Cup winners and Patrick Kane. And then also, who's the other guy? I'm missing another. Jonathan Taves. But who are they? So, are they getting a lot of playing time? This guy is. Who do they play with? If you're playing with top tier players, you're going to score points, even if you're not that great. Like, I could be on the ice and I might score if I could somehow skate down the ice. I might score a goal playing with some of these guys. So, you just want to look at the ice time. Who are they playing with? And that's a good example there. And then goalie wise, this guy's been doing pretty well. He's a rookie goalie named, I don't know, I'll mess this up, but Vitek Vanacek. He's a goalie for the Capitals who let their goalie go this last year, and he's been doing pretty well. So another guy you want to look for. And then once again, this guy, Jake Evans, he's getting some playing time, and he's playing with some really good players, and Nick Suzuki, a young core. And so for me, it's just like basketball, right? Is Tyrese Maxey getting a bunch of playing time? Is he getting a lot of looks? Who are you? It's kind of how you go at it with hockey. But of course, there's always the LaMelos, the Lafrenieres that are worth a lot of money, that people just, very talented. So those are just a few of them we sent off, some more hockey, getting ready for it and trying to predict that. And so hockey's interesting because sometimes it's like baseball. Sometimes guys come out of nowhere when they're 23, 24 rather than
yes, right now.
18, 19. Yeah.
Nick in the stream, he asked a pretty good question. He said, "What's better, PSA, G-Man, or Beckett?" You said PSA was in your shit list.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about. I got pros and cons. I got pros and cons that I could break down fairly quick if you're good with it, Francis, or how do you want to go about it?
Dude, I'm good with it, man. Like I'm here to like, you don't understand how much knowledge I'm like absorbing from you. Like we talk on a daily, and I'm always asking you questions. Like you're a super intelligent guy, and Colton is like. Colton, he knows. Colton is over there just like chilling it out, like, yep. Colton's like planning for the future. I can like see his face, like, yeah, we got some into it for it. So
Colton's idea guy. He's got lots
right.
You know.
Colton look like you give him an idea, he just runs with it till it goes into it. So Nick is pretty interested about PSA, Jimmy, and Beckett. So Nick, we're gonna answer that question. We're gonna hop into a week in the hobby segment here in a minute. I am gonna backtrack at least a little bit, a little couple more things about hockey, Matt. Why aren't people like watching this much hockey? Like, why isn't the hype about the hockey like it is? Like, when is Bowman Chrome gonna come out for hockey? This is my question. Like,
so that's an interesting question because Upper Deck, similar to basically Panini with football and basketball, has kind of a monopoly on it. So Upper Deck's the only place you can get hockey. They have a monopoly over it, so they do a good job though overall. Okay. But
the Bedazzled cards are pretty
Bedazzled. Yeah,
that's my favorite cards.
The Bedazzlers, yeah, they're interesting. They definitely they definitely aren't afraid to push the limits of things with their cards. Like they I mean, I don't know. Like here's a couple of examples too of like cards where they kind of do interesting things. Like this kind of shadow box like has this inlaid behind it with the auto behind it, kind of cool. Just they switch up cards a lot, so you got different.
So are these cards in like your personal collection, or is this cards that you are pretty much just showing? Okay, so we're looking at your PC right now.
The PC, yeah, they got a lot of cool cards, and they got the normal ones too. But overall, I think hockey does. They had some really good looking cards overall. But why people don't watch it, I don't know. Like I said, you'd think people would because people like basketball because it's fast paced and that's and
people like fights. So yeah,
people like fights.
I think I watched some of the games I watched some of the playoff games. It was not a lot. I didn't know a lot about it, and I connect with like people that play the game. But hockey is intense. Colton, do you watch a lot of hockey?
No, he's trying to get me into it, but. We're slowly working on it.
Yeah.
All right. So I really appreciate the hockey knowledge, Matthew, and like you don't understand, like especially I'm a fan of sports, and I love talking sports, and as you probably know, there's not a lot of people around here that do know a lot of things about hockey. So I'm willing to learn. If you send me some highlights and players, Lafreniere and the brother Youngs, right? Bedazzled cards, really.
We'll
take it step by step. So we can now go into the people's favorite segment, which is like when it comes to this podcast, the best review that I've gotten has been a week in the hobby, and great job by Nick. Like he asked one of the questions that we are going to be talking about, so he was ahead of the curve. So, so we'll start off with a week in the hobby. Like I said, I run InTheBox Collection. That's like my own personal podcast, and really like I do very little when it comes to like moving cards, because my goal to move cards is pretty much just to get my podcast like funded, so that way I can play for StreamYard. And also I work with Rocky Mountain Sports Cards, which is their main goal is to sell cards. Like Ryan and Alex do a great job with the ship and rip. They do a great job when it comes to like team breaks and things like that. And I'm always working with them as well. Like, one day Ryan will watch my Nick says you talk to my wife and tell her I'm always ahead. That will cost you extra. Like you gotta buy a lot of cards from us. We could, yeah. Like one day Ryan will watch the podcast and he'll decide to show us his PC. Like I've seen some of his like personal collection is pretty dope. Until he's another guy that and that's the reason why he loves the whole business of cards. Like I'm in it for like creating content, getting people to know about it. So yeah, that's my background when it comes to cards, in the box collection, the podcast, how we bring people together. And I work with Rocky Mountain Sports Cards when it comes to like the main focus to selling cards. And you guys, I've met you guys through to the business of cards itself. BECM Cards, which do you guys want to tell the people what BECM Cards, what that stands for? How did that get started? How did you guys make it a week into the hobby? Like,
yeah, I guess overall the Beckham. Well, for one, it was kind of Colton loves the Giants. Odell Beckham's one of his favorite players, so it was lucky that our names of our wives and us is turned into Beckham. That's basically what it is Bethany, Eileen, Colton, Matt, Beckham Cards. So that worked out really nicely in that regard. How we thought of it, pretty much Colton and I had a couple of beers and started talking about cards and started kind of talking about different ways, different avenues to sell cards, get people involved in cards, and that literally happened probably October, November-ish, and yeah, it just kind of took off.
You guys are official now, yeah. I think Colton, like I know Colton, he's like the more direct guy. Like me and Colton have had a couple conversations, and like Colton is like one of my favorite people because Colton, he's just like he's so direct in his approach, and like he's just a direct guy. Like I think he yelled at me the first time he like DM'd me, and I'm like, I don't know what happened. Like I don't know, but I liked it.
Talking to me.
It's like I was confused, you were confused, we were both confused trying to figure this out. And like, but to me, it's like I like people like that because I know you're like a no bullshit kind of guy. It's like you get what you get, and I like that as a character of a person for it. So you guys have a great thing going. I'm happy for you guys, and I tell you guys on a daily basis. So I'm like, yeah. Plus, BECM Cards is so much original than InTheBox collection. Like sometimes my thing sounds like I have an OnlyFans. So,
do you?
Yeah.
I mean, do you looking to invest my
I got some pretty nice cameras, so I do have some like hidden cameras. So, so back to week in the hobby. Talking about getting cards graded. I want to like. I know Nick is watching. I want to. You should talk to the wife about tell her that he was ahead. My wife might be watching. I don't know. Sometimes she watches it. She loves me. So what's better, PSA, Jimmy, and Beckett? Matthew, if you want to take the floor, man, and you want to tell us what PSA did to you, I'm going to put the solo layout and you can go ham on PSA.
Okay.
So the floor is yours. Tell us.
No problem. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're fine.
Trying to get my my phone plugged in here because it's dying. My microphone's dying. So 1 second. So
yeah, no problem.
There we go. Got it plugged in now. All right. So take on this. Colton's heard this over and over and over again. So I apologize, Colton. You have to hear this again. But I think benefits to PSA. You get a PSA 10. You won't sell anything higher than a PSA 10 or a Beckett. Beckett Black Label 10 or BGS Black Label 10 will probably sell for even higher than a PSA 10 because they're so rare. But so that's the great thing. So if you really think it's a 10, send it in to PSA. But the cons to all that is wait time. Even we paid $75 a card. It still took we were able to get 2 GMA orders back and send off a third one in the time it took for them to send back the 2 cards. So why PSA? Kind of my gripe about PSA. So you pay $75 a card. They do a great job. The cases look really nice. I mean everything about PSA is top tier. But what isn't is that because it takes so long for them to flip cards around, like our La Fernier card, ended up dipping in value over that month because he started not performing as well. And so, you start losing value there. So even if we got a PSA 10 at that time back, we would have lost money on that card. So you kind of have to think about these quick turnarounds, or if somebody stops.
You know what's crazy about like what you just said right there? So you guys all know my wife, right? My wife, Tessie. She pulled the Justin Herbert. Her knowledge of sports cards is very like little bit like she's just getting in. I'm just getting her into it, right?
Yeah.
And that point that you made right there, that by the time you get the card in your hand, right, you pull it from the Walmart park or whatever, the Walmart pack or whatever, or from Ribbon Ship, it ships to you 3 to 5 7 business days. By the time you send it to PSA and it gets back to you in 3 to 4 years, like people may not know who Justin Herbert is by that point in time. Like people may not know who, like the hockey guys you mentioned, like people may not know who Anthony Edwards is, and like that is crazy. Like so, that I just keep going, man. Tell us your first question with PSA. I completely and entirely agree with you, man. I don't think I think I sponsored the show, but I support what you're saying about PSA. So please, sorry, take the floor back.
No, you're good. You're good. Yeah. So I mean, they take a while to get back. So if you have a volatile rookie that you send off, like a Tyrese Maxey, he goes for 34. You send his card off to PSA on quick turnaround, $75. Well, right now that card's probably not going to go for very much because Tyrese Maxey is kind of hit or miss. So, the benefit there, like I said, of course, is if it does come back a mint 10, you're going to get max value. You're going to get great value out of it. And same with BGS. They have a big line as well. I haven't heard as much of a complaint, but I think they're in the same boat. That said, with GMA, where this mint 9 Lafreniere, when you wait that long, it comes back a mint 9. The chances of you getting a gem mint 10 out of it is pretty good, I would say, through GMA. Not saying they're lower quality or anything like that, but they tend to give more 10s. So
except to like Chase Young, from what we found out, they don't like Chase Young,
and they don't like Chase Young. We are pretty certain that the guy doesn't like Ohio State or Chase Young, and had gave him wedgies and when he was younger or something, but GMA quick turnaround time. If we would have sent the Lafreniere off to GMA and we got a gem mint 10 back, all of a sudden that card is worth double of what this PSA mint 9 is now, because he's still the hot rookie at the time.
What time frame? Yeah.
Yep, and he's and it's a mint 10, and you can argue whether it's a 9 or a 10, but when you get a PSA 9, people are like, that's a 9, and that's you still get good value, but that's kind of the tough part overall. So it all depends on what you're trying to do. If you're really confident in your card is that it's a 10. I was really confident looking at the Lafreniere that it was going to be a 10. Pretty disappointed it wasn't. Do you want
to show the card? Do you want to show the card to the people, the Lafreniere? Do you want to show it? Put it on your phone, in your camera's phone?
Yeah. I can. And the main concern with cards this year for Upper Deck are these corners, and the corners are really crisp, right? And that's the main thing. There's surface defects, but these cards aren't like. These cards aren't versions of baseball or basketball or anything like that where they have these surface dimples. This card's really clean that way. And then, it's just the card looks really clean all the way around. Corners all look good. I'm really shocked it was a 9. And once again, and so I'm almost certain that'd be a GMA 10. And that card, a GMA 10 right now, might sell for $1,000. This card is probably $400 right now as a PSA 9. Still good money, but
be honest, man. I sorry to interrupt you, by the way, but be honest. Thomas asked the question. I support Thomas's question in your comments. Are you gonna crack the bitch, send it to GMA? Like, isn't it be worthwhile?
No, because there's the other danger is a GMA 9 is if GMA grades it a 9. Then all of a sudden you're down value to probably 200 versus 400. So it's not really it's not worth it in that regard. But GMA has its, I really like GMA and Colt. I think Colton would agree with that overall.
Colson, how do you feel about graded cards? Like, do you like getting your cards graded? Because I know there was a couple. You guys sent out like 100 cards, and I know there was a couple for like Colton's personal collections as well as yours. Colton, how do you feel about GMA, PSA, and Beckett? Now, I mean, my views are with Matthew. Like, yeah. Oh, Colton's gone.
And we lose him.
Yeah, he just dropped off. All right, so
okay. Phone might have died.
His phone might have done something like that. I think I don't know what happened. Maybe he has something. So we'll re-ask Colton when he gets back. I agree with you completely and entirely in what you said about the comparison between PSA, GMA, and Beckett. My only card that I sent to PSA so far that I received back, it was my Jason Dominguez. It was a purple Jason Dominguez. It was a number card. It was a 10.
Nice. Yeah.
And I'm happy about it. But at the same time, just like you did, man, I paid that $50, $75 express. Like, I put my money in the line. I was like, we're going to go all out for PSA. And we still don't know if Jason Dominguez is going to be hot. Like, if it would have, like, I got lucky. I don't think that I did anything special or anything like that. I think I just got lucky. And dude was like, Jason, he may have been like a Dominguez fan. Maybe my grader was Dominican and I'm Dominican, so he felt the connection and he gave me the better grade for it. I do like GMA better. Their slaps are cleaner. Is it just me or? Oh,
PSA. Oh yeah, PSA's. Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, losing connection too. PSA's got a lot nicer slabs than GMA. BGS might even have nicer slabs than PSA. So yeah, it's all kind of what you want. What
you pay for in a sense, right?
Yeah. You get a lot nicer slabs. The GMA ones do move around a little bit more than the PSAs. Which is a gripe of a lot of people, which is fair, but that can be fixable over time. So PSA's turnaround and all that is rough, but they're experts. They
don't. I mean, they made it like 10 plus 10, almost 20 years, right? Like, people don't acknowledge that, don't give them enough credit. What do you think about the new HGA? Is that what they call it? They sound like a steroids. What do you think about the new HGA? They're the full-on artificial intelligence grading company that's out there.
Yeah, that's wish would have done something like that before they did it. Because right. I mean, not having any kind of human bias. If somebody has a bad day, or let's say they don't like the fact that you're Dominican and you submitted a Dominican baseball card and they give you a 9 because of that, for whatever reason, because that's just how people are. But yeah, I mean, like it takes away the bias of things, which is great. I mean, that's what you want. You want to know if you send a card in that it's legit. And so there's only so much. Yeah.
Have you done any research about HGA or anything like that, or no?
No, I thought it was I thought there was like a GB. I can't remember what the one was that was using it, but I didn't realize that HGA was using the artificial. Or the instruments. So
let me show you so this is some of the information that I have found for them real quick. So all right, so I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so this is HGA, right? So we're talking about a week in a hobby, and we want to talk about how we did when it comes to sales and everything else, but also some of the new things that are also in the hobby. So this is the main website for HGA, which stands for Hybrid Grading Approach, right? Pretty much, it is exactly it. It's AI. Their time frames are pretty. They stand by their time frame. Like if they say, I think I'll show you their prices and things like that. Give me a second. We'll go back to the homepage. Like their pricing and the time frame, they stand by it. So they have the fastest 10 days, most popular 30 days, and that's oh wow, they actually updated, so now you can send more cards, which is great.
What What's their prices? I can't really see on my screen
Oh,
super
yeah.
well. Oh, 50,
So
35, 55. Okay.
yeah, so turnaround times 10 days, price per car, 1 to 19 cars, $50 per car. That's like 10 days, right? And you're dropping, you're paying for the services for it, right? Um, the most popular 30 days are probably like the standard, which is $35 per car. And they stand by their time frames. It's one of their biggest things on it. Now, I did notice this though, like for you to be able to submit a car to them, like it has to be within. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Which I want to get your thoughts on this, and I don't know if this is like a curveball or anything like that, but I actually wasn't planning on this at all. But we got to talk about grading and things like that, and I think this is a pretty important topic because we are new into the business of moving, selling cars, and different things like that, and but this is a huge thing when it comes to the business itself. Whether you're a collector, whether you're doing it for profit, whether you're doing it just to build your PC, but I mean, you have this new grading company. They have guidelines on their gradings and return times. I guess you have to enter a cheat code, and it has to be done before Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern time, which is like 7 p.m. our time. Like, I signed up with them because I was curious, and that's kind of what you do in the business. Like, that's kind of what you do for like weekend hobby. But what do you think this is going to do to PSA, to GMA, and Beckett? Do you think that they're an actual threat? As when they span, it's only a matter of time. I guess if we can make it there like 7 p.m. 01, then we could maybe be able to put in a card into it and send a number of cards. Like, I haven't done it yet because obviously.
I think they're only a threat when they become viable. GMA with their quick turnaround times are a semi threat to PSA right now, but people still prefer PSA. Even they prefer those. They prefer the the 80 year turnaround times, but they hold their value.
But shouldn't that be an incentive to PSA to like hire some people? Like, do me a favor, man. Like, get yourself on Indeed.com, post a couple of job postings, like train somebody to. There's obviously a demand in the hobby for getting stuff graded, right?
Yep, yeah, and they I think are trying to hire people. I think the problem is getting people that will live up to their standard, and that's the beauty of a non-biased approach using instruments. If HGA is doing it that way, is that they don't have to hire a new person; they buy another instrument, and that kind
just
of
find a fast copy machine and just turn it into
So now, but how legit they are, and like how what standards do they go off of? We don't know yet. I mean, they charge a bunch for cards, but how do they cross over? That's the biggest thing, is how do they cross over to PSA? Because they can say they got all this stuff, but if their instruments are highly complex, have them calibrated properly and this and that, then you may be getting skewed results, and they may not know it because they're relying heavily on these instruments. And so I'd be interested to know how they do it personally.
So I was doing some research. So this is like straight from their website. Like, I'm not, for people that are watching, just like, if you're listening to us, like, we're going straight to the HGA website because, we are talking about grading, and, it's an important process. Like, we all want to find out a bit more about what's out there, right? Says the other question here will be, why not? That's cool, I guess. Highlights, custom. Can you see this? Can you read any of this?
Yep.
So what do you think about their about us so far? I mean, they're saying why not, and customer service is the best, bar none, consistent, unbiased, and that's not even a complete sentence.
Is he implementing software that? And once again, it comes down to the how do they ensure their software is constantly working properly?
Yeah.
Because when it is working properly, they're absolutely correct. But these things can have glitches in the software. And what happens when they go to try and grade some kind of card that, like a die cut card. I don't know if you're familiar with those cards they're not the normal the normal square cards. They're kind of have cuts in them, just as part
Like
of what they do.
the Crown Royal cards that's I don't like.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I mean,
How they do that.
do you think that somebody can hack into the system and give us all tens? Like if we make a submission,
we need to figure it out. Yeah. And that's
so if
another
there's any
thing,
hackers, if there's any hackers in the chat right now or watching the show, not saying that we will hire you, but we're not looking for a hacker, but asking for a friend. Can you hack into HGA
yeah,
and give us a good deal?
That's right. Get us all tens. Yeah, and that's the other thing, is software always has issues. So their whole 10-day turnaround thing is only good as long as their software is
and
working
it looks
properly.
like it gives them a description on kind of what to look for. Surface, the centering, the edges. I mean,
Yep. No, it's super cool they did that. There's just a lot to work through, but they definitely are ahead of their competitors, and they might be the one that could challenge PSA and BGS, because, like I said, they don't have to hire new people. They just have to buy new instrumentation, and soon they could just have a factory of cards getting graded in and out.
Right. Just what's the bad guy or in the not Transformers, but Terminator, Skynet. HGA Skynet. Yeah, Skynet's just replacing. I mean, I guess if we get into HGA, we can get into like some like politics and things like that, being how machines are replacing us people and the conspiracy theories. But whatever, man. So, something I do. So, thanks for the information, by the way. Really appreciate it. Like I said, for the people that are watching, check out BECM Cards. So I do like asking, how was your week in a hobby? How was your week in sales? Was there anything that, like, I was on vacation most of last week, but Tyler hit the jackpot for me, and he brought me some NFL optics, in which I opened 2 packs. One of them, I hit the green Chase Young.
Okay, that's right.
Right. And the other one was trash. Like the other one, it's on TikTok and it's sad. People cry with me there. But I got pretty lucky when it came to your Rasses. I won 3 cards, and the other card was taken by Luis. So, how was your week in the hobby? Like when it came to, this week's experience with cards for you? Did you have a good week? Was it a bad week? Was there something that threw you off? Did some guy like piss you off? That like what's something happened that was something that was fun, or just that overall happened the week in the hobby for you?
I think we got our PSA cards back, so that was bad. But overall, I mean, the things are going pretty well. Moving cards. Lamelo's still good. Herbert's are still good. It's kind of all the other cards that are kind of just hit or miss. Have some Sadiq Bays up and some Precious Achuas up on our eBay. But overall, my biggest thing is eBay. People that bid on your stuff and then don't pay. It drives me nuts, man. It drives me nuts. Like the people will go, somehow eBay doesn't restrict them from doing that, or they do, but not very well. And so we'll get, we've sold a Herbert card twice, same Herbert card twice, and let's see, this Herbert right here.
Bid on it.
Sold this Herbert twice. Nobody bid. Nobody will pay.
I put it back on it. See if the people are. If anybody's interested, please purchase this Herbert from Matt, because he's been trying to get rid of it twice. How much was it? How much is that going for on eBay? How much were you selling it for on eBay?
Sold it initially for 60, and then the guy didn't pay, and then and eventually had to drop the price, and we sold it for 50, and still have yet to get the guy pay. But we're still waiting like a couple more days. But yeah, it's it's just, that's the sucky part. Razzes are nice because it's kind of all there, but the market's getting flooded with everybody wanting to razz, and so it's tough because everybody wants to buy into razzes and breaks, and it's all about trying to find the cards that people will still pay even when they don't want to buy in. So
that's true.
But yeah, overall good weeks. The the peaks and valleys, just because once we get a bunch of cards posted from GMA, then typically we'll get peaks.
Yeah,
And then
I'm excited to see what eBay does with the cards I'm getting from you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like selling to people on Facebook. I feel like I like eBay better. I don't know why. I just like eBay better. But I don't get me wrong. People on Facebook, please buy my cards. Like I said, we trying to feed this podcast. Rocky Monster Sports Cards. We're trying to pay bills. BECM Cards, Bubblegum and Leather. I do want to send out an official invite to you. Myself and Andrew from Bubblegum and Leather. I'm pretty sure you're in that group because I invited you. I let people. If you're in my tiny circle, then I let you know where all the hits are, where I get my hits from. Bubblegum and Leather, definitely check them out. And we are planning an episode on doing a week in a hobby and just talk about all the things that we hate. Thanks, Nick. You just took that out of context, man. I'm sorry. But we want to do an episode, and everybody that's welcome into it to do what do you hate about the hobby? Please buy from us. Please, Nick, buy from InTheBox, buy from Rocky Mountain Sports Club, buy from BECM, Andrew, Bubblegum and Leather. Don't buy from PSA. Buy from us.
Yeah.
So I'll send you an invite. How would you feel about, coming in and telling your story on how the hobby has treated you good? I mean, we always talk about the good part. We say it was a great week, but it sounds like you have some anger built up, and I want to get it out.
No, definitely, and a lot of that comes down to the PSA thing, but then also people not buying, or the guys that buy into Razes and then they're like they don't pay their Raz.
In a timely manner.
They always the one guy that was that got excommunicated because he shorted somebody and and then jumped in and
I had a guy. He won the Raz. I'm like, yeah, man, that's cool. You were the last person left. Everybody else I trust. We just want to run it for the people. Half of the time I just run it for the people. Yeah. And I'm like, man, this guy didn't pay, and on top of that, he won. So I didn't ship his stuff because I got a weird feeling about it. Because honestly, if you go into a Raz, pay people. Thank you, Nicholas, for always paying people and for being always a good sport about things. But I waited 2 weeks. I'm like, dude, oh wow. I just found a number Robinson Cano car.
Send that in.
Yeah. So thanks, man. Appreciate it. So it was he won. So I waited 2 weeks to send this guy a freak. I'm like, dude, I would pay I would cover it myself and rip this box right now. Just I don't know. But if you're down, we were thinking about doing it this Sunday. So do you want to do it? Do you want to? I mean, I think there's still a lot of beautiful things about things, but we also got to talk about the negative. It's not all fun and games.
I can talk, about the positive and the negative of it. So, and Colton will probably be happy because it's not me just complaining to him about it, So you guys will complain to you guys about it. So the eBay,
we're doing it for the wives.
Talk about all that. So on behalf of BECM Cards. So,
perfect. All right, man. I think did we go over everything in the list? Have we missed anything you want to talk about? We talked about Super Bowl reaction, Tom Brady not retiring. We're all going for you're going for Lawrence, I'm going for Fields. Talked about NBA rookies. Really? Sorry, my wife is over here. I don't even know what she was doing. But thanks. Is there anything you want to talk about before we close on the show? I mean, we've been at it for about an hour and a half. This is what I like the time frame for it.
It's good. I'm good. Thanks for having us and helping to promote BECM Cards, and also we'll make sure to share it and let everybody know to come and watch these podcasts on your end. But overall, just thanks for letting Colton and I come on, and I know I talk a lot, so Colton's more reserved, doesn't talk as much as I. So I apologize,
but
Colton, if you're
he's
watching.
extremely
So.
direct. Yeah, he's probably like watching it. Just like I'm sure, like somewhere out there, Andrew is watching. Like, oh, I got him now. But
yeah. So yeah, no, thank you for that, and for giving us the spotlight for a little bit. So
yeah,
appreciate it, and look forward to more of these.
I hope so. All right, man. So I'm gonna end the stream to the people. Thank you everybody who dropped by. Thanks Nick. Thanks Trent, Lindsay and Trent. Thank you Tessie for watching and not dropping anything. Thanks Andrew. Thanks Delvy. You gotta. I'm gonna text you and I'm gonna find out how to pronounce your name. Jason hopping to the stream for a little bit. Bennett hopping to the stream for a little bit. Thanks all you guys. At the end of the day, we kind of do this for you guys, and we understand, it is about us, running a business, but also I want to thank the people that support us, man. Like, your page is like taking off. You have had a whole bunch of supporters. It has been crazy for you, so that's awesome. So yeah, and yeah. Well, I think Matt left us. So I think he's replugging his headphones in. So I think his phone would probably just die. So yeah, guys, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, welcome back, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
No, I was just saying goodbye, saying thank you to everybody else that hop into it. This is InTheBox Collection. BECM Cards. Check them out on Facebook, eBay. Support us so that way we can keep grinding out here, right? Because that's kind of what we're doing for it. And I'm getting bits on eBay, man. It's pretty exciting. So do you want to say goodbye? Anything else? Say whatever you want, man.
No, just, check out BECM Cards on eBay and big things coming on Facebook over the next year. Kind of slow to get things out, but we'll get things up and going and working with you and Rocky Mountain. And thanks to everybody who tuned in, and hopefully, we can grow this all together as a community and all of us can eat. So
yeah, that's the point. So we will call it. All right, bye guys. Thank you guys. And I'm going to end the stream.